Technology changing the way we buy and sell homes. There are new iPhone apps and countless websites that guide buyers and sellers. But is it all for the better? Here to talk about it is Eldad Moraru of Long & Foster. Many of your clients obviously search home listings on the web. It's a huge time saver for realtors and for people looking because obviously information right at our fingertips. But if you don't know the ins and outs of it, you might not be getting the full picture, right?
Absolutely. So what happened is several years ago, the MLSs were required to open up their database to the general public. And as a result, many different websites have popped up offering searches for buyers. And they're not all created equal. So what it is that while the information is there, it's fantastic. The searches are great. What buyers need to understand is that the information is not always accurate and not always current. So while different websites will query the database to update their information at different rates, some will do it very often, others do it very rarely. Many of them, however, are terrible at removing all data. So I see it all the time where my clients see a house online. They email me, hey, how come we didn't hear about this? It looks so great. I look it up in the MLS, and it's been under contract for 2.5 weeks. Yeah, and still on these different websites. So you
obviously
realize
makes things difficult. And most people, do they do it through your realtor's website, or do other people go through third-party websites, things like that?
They go everywhere. But the best thing you can do, and I do this for every single buyer I work with, is I will set up a profile of what they're looking for in the MLS.
Oh, okay.
So they get real-time updates of everything that matches their criteria. That is the best thing you can do.
Okay. Set me one up, lakefront with a 4-car garage, price no option, and send it over anytime.
You got it.
Day or night. A fun tool that people play with also, Zillow, which is just great. And for those who don't know, it's like a Google Maps, and it has home assessment values or home price values. First of all, how do they get the values, and are the values of the homes reliable?
Okay, I have a huge beef with Zillow.
Okay.
We don't know truly how they get all their data. They claim they use tax records. They use information from the MLS. It's a whole hybrid of some magical proprietary formula that they use. However, my experience is that they are consistently inaccurate in both directions.
Okay.
Case in point, I refinanced my house 2 weeks ago, got just a phenomenal rate. So the house was appraised. And then when I knew I was coming in here yesterday, I pulled up their estimate. They were off by 27%. That's huge.
Yeah.
And I see that all the time where sellers say, well, Zillow says my house is worth X. I've seen buyers when they're thinking about making an offer, hey, Zillow says this is the value. And it's all over the map. Too high, too low, it's random.
What about government websites and things where you actually dig up the tax assessment value? Is that...
Tax assessment values also are not necessarily meaningful because there's a lot of things you need to know. When was the last tax assessment done? They're not done continuously. So you could be looking at a tax assessment that's 2-3 years old, could have just been done. And again, depending on the area, sometimes they're high, sometimes they're low. So once in a while, it's right on the money, but not often.
And finally, like everything in the world now, there's an iPhone app, multiple iPhone apps for real estate. What's your experience with those, and what are your clients saying about them?
They are wonderful. Again, you got to know their limitations, but what people will do, you turn on your location services, you go look at neighborhoods, pull up one of these apps, and there's a whole bunch. Long & Foster has a great one, Realtor.com, Redfin. I found one called Nearby, BUY. That essentially it will show you all open houses and active listings within 1 mile, 2 miles, 5 miles of where you physically are. So if you're driving through a neighborhood, you can drive around and look what's on the market. It's just a great little tool.
Neat stuff. Brave New World. Eldad Moraru of Long & Foster. Appreciate your time as always. Also a hot tub. I need a hot tub.
You got it. I'll get right on it.
If you could check that off on the list.